Warm welcome. Let's take a look at the story making our top story is the supporters of Alexei Navalny have taken to the streets of Russia to call for the release of the jailed Kremlin critic. Nearly 2,000 people have been detained across Russia. Russian police had detained Yulia Navalnaya, the wife of Alexei Navalny. She was seen being escorted to the police van by the Moscow police. Now, Yulia was seen announcing this on her Instagram. Announcing on her Instagram from inside of a police van, she said, and I quote, "Apologies for the poor quality, very bad light in the police van," unquote. Now, according to reports, she has now been released after hours of detention. Video footage from Vladivostok showed riot police chasing a group of protesters down the street, while demonstrators in Khabarovsk braved temperatures of around minus 14 degrees Celsius to take to the streets. In Moscow, police were seen using force to break up protests around the city. The Moscow police had cordoned off the city square ahead of the pro-Navalny rally. According to Reuters reports, there are nearly 40,000 protesters on the streets of Moscow. There are also reports of some internet outage in parts of the country. The protesters were seen throwing snowballs at the police during the clashes. Crowds were seen protesting in large numbers, even in the frigid temperatures. Meanwhile, the new U.S. administration under Biden has taken a strong stance amid a recalibration of ties with Russia. The U.S. Embassy in Russia has tweeted about the pro-Navalny protests, saying that the United States supports the right to peaceful protests. It added that the steps taken by the Russian authorities were suppressing those rights. Meanwhile, Russia has accused the U.S. diplomats of publishing Navalny rally routes. European Union foreign policy chief has also condemned the crackdown on protesters in Russia. Joseph Borrell has said, and I quote, "I deplore the widespread detentions, disproportionate use of force, cutting down internet and phone connections," unquote. In Paris, protests were held in support of Alexei Navalny. The crowd held up posters demanding the Russian leader's release. Meanwhile, the opposition has said it will hold more protests next weekend to demand Navalny's release. Russian authorities had already warned against the protests earlier. Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin had urged Muscovites not to attend the rally, citing coronavirus concerns in the city. The Kremlin also said that the nationwide protests planned were illegal. They reiterated that the protests were being promoted by provocateurs. However, sources close to the Kremlin believe that Navalny is becoming a threat. Many also said that he will probably be kept in jail even if there are prolonged protests in his support. WION, now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.